Hey there, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for Take Pride in Your Business, Getting Your Business Out with Constant Contact and the NGLCC. We are going to get started here in a couple of minutes. So if you want to go ahead and grab a piece of paper and a pen to take some notes or grab some water, run to the restroom really quick, we'll go ahead and get started right at 1 o'clock Eastern time. For those of you who have not joined in on a GoToWebinar webinar before, you will see a dashboard there on your right hand side so you can participate in today's session. Feel free, if you want to test out your systems right now, you can actually go into your little chat window there, type in your name and where you're joining us from today, and that will let me know that you can hear my voice, you can see my screen, and that we are ready to go. So I will go ahead and wait for some of those answers to come in just to make sure that we're all set. Jason says, I don't see chat enabled, but I can hear you okay. So that's great, Jason. I can see your chats. You won't be able to see other people's, but it is working on your end. And Carmen says, I can hear you. Welcome, Carmen. Welcome, Jason. If you would also like to, within your dashboard, there's a little hand icon there. You can go ahead and raise your hand too if you can hear me or see my screen, in that way I know everything's working properly. During the webinar, you can use these features to participate. So we may ask you questions, or if you have questions along the way, feel free to use that chat window to type those in there, and then we'll be able to answer your questions there at the end, okay? Hello, Christopher from Texas. Welcome. All right, so I think we're ready to go. I have enough answers to feel like the systems are working properly. So let's go ahead and get started. Let me go ahead and turn on my webcam so I can see or you can see me, I suppose, right? So, hello, welcome everybody. Thank you so much for joining us for Take Pride in Your Business, Getting Your Business Out with Constant Contact and the NGLCC, the National LGBT Chamber of Commerce. We're so thrilled to have everyone here, and happy Pride Month. I can't believe it's already the end of June. It's so crazy to me. But let me just, sorry, my systems are not working properly, so I just want to make sure that we get this going. Okay, there we go. Okay, so welcome everybody. I can't believe it's already the end of Pride Month. We are super thrilled to be doing this webinar with the NGLCC. We have a very special guest here with us today. Her name is Sarah Jester, and hello, Sarah. I'll have you introduce yourself and your role at the NGLCC, and then we'll go ahead and kick it off.
Perfect. My name is Sarah. I'm the Digital Media Manager at the National LGBT Chamber of Commerce, and my pronouns are they, them. I specialize in video production, graphic design, site design, and copywriting, especially when it comes to email marketing, speech writing, and the like. And we're super thrilled to be here today with Constant Contact and looking forward to this conversation.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Sarah. So today really is about helping you all grow as a business and getting your business out there. And I think a huge part of that conversation is that people are always talking about, well, how do I get new customers and how do I find new customers to come into my business and grow it that way? But today we're really going to focus on growing our business using our existing customers, because that's really where you're going to find most of the loyalty and the return on investment for your business. So as I mentioned, Sarah's here with me today, and she's going to give us some great perspective in terms of what the NGLCC is doing, but also what their members are doing as well, that are that they're finding success with. And then I'm Jenna Schaefer. I am here with Constant Contact. I'm a brand programs marketing manager. So my goal here is to share with you some really helpful hints and tips in terms of what I've seen our clients using to become successful as well. So I'm super thrilled to be here. So the research really continues to show that focusing on your existing customers or your current customers is the most effective way to increase your sales. So let's take a look at some helpful statistics here. And I'm sorry, I'm running into some issues, so I'm going to close down some of my windows there. So 80% of our profits come from 20% of existing customers. That's quite a bit of business coming from existing customers and loyal customers. And then from that, 90% of consumers will stick with a brand that they're familiar with. So people want to do business with people that they know, like, and trust. With that, you'll see that it costs about 5 times less to encourage them to buy again versus attracting new customers. So the return on investment is actually a lot higher for your business as well. And then you can improve your profits just by improving the retention of your existing customers. So if you can even improve that just by 5%, we typically see that your profits boost by about 75%. And then that's because specifically loyal customers spend about 300% more with a business that they know, like, and trust. And if they're returning back to you, obviously there's going to be more profit there. So that's really impactful too. Now, at Constant Contact, we believe that email marketing is really going to be the cornerstone of any of your online marketing efforts and your online marketing strategy. It's really the glue that holds everything together. So you really should be nurturing and cultivating those relationships with those existing customers using email marketing to increase your sales. Why email marketing? Well, it's simply because time and time again, email marketing proves to be the most effective marketing channel over anything else. So you'll see about a $42 return on investment for every dollar that you spend on email marketing versus, say, social media, which is, I think, around $33. So if you put it in perspective here, say the value of your list, I like to think of it in really small numbers. So even if you have a really small list, say 10 people, if you think about your average product of product or service, say that's $50. Hypothetically, every time you send out an email, that means your email is worth $500. Okay, so you just multiply the number of people on your contact list by the average price of product or service that you're offering, and that's the value of your email marketing. Now, you and I both know that when you send out an email, not everybody is going to be taking action from that email or purchasing from you right away. Everybody's a little bit different in the sales process that they're at, or in the sales cycle that they're at. But even if you get 1, 2, 3 people to act on your emails that you're sending out, you can see a pretty impactful return on investment there. So today what we're going to cover are a few things. So the fundamentals of email marketing to improve your retention. So going back to this idea of email marketing as the glue and the cornerstone to your marketing strategy, we want to make sure that you have the fundamentals in place. And then we'll talk a little bit about using segmentation and automation to improve your results, because these are very underutilized tactics and ways that you can really improve what you're doing with your email marketing strategy. So even if you're already doing email, we're going to cover the basics, and then we're going to take it a level up there. And then Sarah's going to be sharing with us some best practices that the NGLCC recommends to help grow your business as well. And then Sarah's obviously here to share her expertise along the way too. So Sarah, feel free to jump in at any time and share with us the things that you've seen or that you have heard with the NGLCC members that you work with. So let's go ahead and get started with the fundamentals of using email marketing to improve your retention. Essentially, when we think about the fundamentals of email marketing and building out your email marketing strategy, there are 2 types of emails that you want to include in your strategy. And one is going to be promotional, which is really there to help you drive sales and get people to take that immediate action. And then the other is non-promotional. And this is really where you're sharing your story and you're building a relationship. It's more about the long-term relationship that you have with your contacts. And because the reality is that not everybody is ready to purchase from you right away. But bringing these 2 types of emails together is going to help you keep your business top of mind with your consumers, your patrons, your customers, your clients, help you build a lasting relationship with them and increase engagement in sales. So again, you can see here, and this is actually 5 North Chocolate. Ben is the owner of 5 North Chocolate, and he is a member of the NGLCC. So of course we had to use him as an example, but he is based out of New York. And these are the 2 different types of emails that he includes. So you can see the non-promotional one is really sharing information about where his profits are going. So they have a whole initiative around being able to donate globally if you purchase locally. And then he has promotional emails, which are really, they're including discounts and calls to action in order to get people to actually go and purchase the chocolates from him. So he's done a really great job of including both of these. So essentially think of it as building your brand when people aren't ready to buy. So your business is top of mind when they are ready to buy. And something to keep in mind is, especially as smaller e-commerce sellers, if you're a smaller brand and you're doing e-commerce sellers, this is actually an advantage to you to be able to do both of these things, because personality and having a conversation with your audience is such a powerful tool, and connecting with them on a different level is. And so this is something I kind of want to pose a question to Sarah about. Sarah, can you tell us a little bit more about how the NGLCC encourages LGBTQ+ business owners to talk about their businesses, and what kind of stories or content they should be including in these non-promotional emails to help promote support within the community? I'd love to hear your perspective on that.
Yeah, absolutely. So we really encourage our business owners to have a very strong grasp on their story of how they became an LGBT entrepreneur and what they do to support the LGBT community. Because especially when you are an LGBT business owner, you will have an LGBT audience. And so it's important to let them know exactly what you're doing to give back, what your place is in the community, and how you're really providing that service to them. It's really important to kind of establish that connection between you and your customers in that way, even when they're not necessarily buying from you yet, just because it can kind of add that personal touch.
I love that. So do you have any examples of what you've seen people include, or anything that you've gotten within your inbox that you feel like, oh, this was such a great piece of content, or I got a lot of value out of this?
Yeah, absolutely. So one of our businesses, Corporate Filming, has discussed a lot about how Trevor Rappel is the owner, and he's discussed a lot about how he grew up and he was interested in video production and in filming, and then he finally got into that business and was able to tell other people's stories and how that's really fulfilled him. So it kind of adds that personal touch of his own story as an entrepreneur and then connecting it to the business, although not necessarily being a promotional email, excuse me.
That's wonderful. I love that. So kind of on the same note, I get the question a lot of, what should I include in my emails, or what should I say? How should I say it? So I do want to give people a little bit of an idea in terms of best practices, kind of the basics of what you should include. And so when we think about what we're including in our emails, you really want to answer 3 different questions. What are you offering? How will it help the reader, and what should they do next? So how do they take action on that? So the headline is really going to answer, what are you offering? The message body, or the copy of your email, will describe how it's going to provide a solution to your audience. And this, typically we say that 20 lines of text or less within your email is most impactful. And I always get people, they kind of jump back like, wait, what? I can only use 20 lines of text or less. And the dirty little secret about email marketing is that nobody actually reads emails anymore, unfortunately. They look for things to click on and interact with. And so it's beneficial to you if you keep those emails really short and sweet, but then drive them elsewhere to take action, right? We actually do want them to leave the email. That's going to help your SEO, your search engine optimization. It's going to help overcome social algorithms if you're driving them to social media. And so keeping that message body really short and sweet, just describing how you can help the reader and then driving them elsewhere, is going to warrant that kind of action. And then obviously giving them some sort of call to action button. You would be so surprised at how many emails I've seen. We've had people call in and say, I'm not getting that great of a response from my emails, or I'm not seeing a high click-through rate, and we'll go in and look at the email and there's no call to action button, or there's no links for them to go and take action. So make sure that whatever you're describing that you're offering and how you can provide a solution to your reader, you're giving them a way to actually do that. So think about that. And then from here, really at this point, we've talked about individual emails with one topic or the idea or one idea within those emails, but I know a lot of you are sending out newsletters as well. So my personal opinion of newsletters is don't do it, right? Newsletters kind of create this negative connotation of long and boring, right? But I know that different types of businesses have different information that they need to send out, and oftentimes it's multiple types of information. You have events going on, you're trying to run promotions, you're trying to get involved in the community, right? So we want to make sure everybody is aware of all of those things. So here are a few different ways that you can create a newsletter but still stick to the fundamentals and the best practices, so you can kind of, you know, ride both sides of the fence there, and be still pretty effective with those emails. So some newsletter tips that I have for you. As mentioned earlier, personality is good. So add an intro that allows you to connect with your audience. Really, I've seen people share anecdotes. I've seen people just share personal, not too personal, right? But they've shared, you know, moments about their weeks or a wow moment that they had with one of their customers, right? So what they're doing is kind of building that rapport with their audience. And this may be, again, a short story with the theme of the information in your newsletter, or some sort of commentary that pulls the audience in as to why it's important to them or valuable to them. But make your emails personal and just show some personality, show the brand voice that you want to show within those emails. And then keep it to, we still want to keep it short and sweet. So I know 20 lines of text or less is really going to be most impactful, but if you're going to break that rule, try to keep it to at least 3 sections of content. And again, within those 3 sections, still keep it to a headline, a paragraph, and a call to action. So we say a picture, a paragraph, and a call to action. So still keep it pretty short and sweet, and then include some sort of read more option to get them to go to your website or to your social channels where they can interact there. And then it's always a good idea to write a brief intro to each topic. As I mentioned, do a click more to read more later. This is actually really great for segmentation as well. So when somebody clicks on a link within your email, what they're doing is they're showing interest in that type of topic. And we actually at Constant Contact have a feature called click segmentation. So when they click on that link, you can automatically merge them into a specific type of list. So you can, in the future, start to communicate more specifically about that topic to that audience. And you know that they're interested in it because that they've clicked on it before. So Sarah, do you have any other suggestions for sending newsletters? I know that you mentioned a little bit more about kind of sharing things that you're involved in and ways that you're involved in the community. Do you have any suggestions for maybe longer types of emails that people are sending out?
Yeah, absolutely. So we do send a longer newsletter, and we send it once a week on Mondays at 2 p.m. So my suggestion would be to send it on a regimented schedule so that people know when to expect it. You're going to want people to be looking out for your name in their inbox at that time on that day. So keeping to a schedule is extremely important. And definitely agreed on keeping it as brief as possible. People have very short attention spans. They don't have to pay attention to you, but they're choosing to. So just don't take up too much of their attention or time or energy. Just get your point across as quickly and briefly as possible and engage with them further on that.
I love that. And that actually, your point about consistency and sending on a regimented schedule is kind of what we're talking about next, is how often should I send? And we get this question a lot is, you know, should I send every week? Should I send every month? And really the answer is it depends. It depends on your audience and who you're talking to, depends on their schedules, when it's best for them to open up your emails. So first and foremost, it's important to know that every business is different, every audience is different. So you'll want to consider your audience. That is a huge part of getting your emails opened and getting them to click on it. Do they even have time to open it up at that point? And then you'll also want to consider the expectations you're setting when they're signing up for the newsletter. So one mishap that I see happening a lot is people saying, sign up for our weekly newsletter, but then they only send out once a month. right? Or vice versa, right? We're going to send out once a month and then they start sending too often, and that's where you start to see spam complaints or unsubscribe. So it's important to set those expectations properly and to stick to those. And if you decide that you're going to change that consistency, that you let your audience know ahead of time, right? There's that change management ahead of time, that, hey, we've seen more interest in hearing more frequently from us, so we're going to start doing it on a bi-weekly basis, right? So you can do that appropriately. If you let people know when you'll be sending out a daily email, or in Sarah's case, a weekly email, as they mentioned before, you know, people actually kind of wait to see that name pop up or the email pop up in your inbox. So there's creating anticipation about when you'll be sending out the email as well. So a good rule of thumb for promotional emails, or say events that you're running, we typically say send out a 3-part series. So an announcement, a reminder, and a last chance email. And that really just kind of depends on how long within the event or promotion that you're running. So typically we say about a month ahead of time would be appropriate, but sometimes you decide that you're going to run a last minute promotion. You can still fit these 3 emails within that series. It's just important for, again, announcing the promotion or the event, and that way you're creating anticipation. A reminder email, we see about actually about 80% of people who take advantage of promotions or register for events typically register or take advantage of that during the reminder email the day or two beforehand, and then the last chance email. So really, again, creating that sense of urgency, or even the follow-up email, thanking them for partaking in whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish. So adjust the timeline for your needs, but a good place to start is about a month beforehand. And again, this is just a guide, so keep in mind frequency really does depend on your audience and those expectations. And then timing is going to change a little bit too once we start talking about segmentation with your audience and targeting more relevant groups of people. Because if you are sending to more targeted, segmented groups of people, they're actually more tolerant of receiving emails more frequently, because it's specific to what they've requested or what they want. So Sarah, I don't know if you have any thoughts on this as well, if you wanted to share. I know that you said consistency and that schedule is really important to NGLCC.
It is, yeah, and especially for the New York newsletter as well. For events that we do the 3 email schedule. We follow that schedule pretty frequently, and it's guaranteed to increase registrations after the fact. You know, if you're running low on registrations and you're sending out that last chance email, that creates a sense of urgency that kind of prompts people to register if they just haven't before. So it's important to keep pushing that message out, even if you've already sent out 1 or 2 emails about it.
Awesome, great. So we say here, you know, if you're just getting started with email marketing, send at least once a month, just to get you into a healthy routine. But again, as we talk a little bit about segmentation and targeting your audience, which is coming up next, that might change a little bit as well. But that's a good rule of thumb to start out with. So speaking of automation and segmenting your list, let's go ahead and move on to that topic. So segmentation, and really in order to get the best results possible with your email marketing, or for any marketing for that matter, you'll need to recognize that every single one of your contacts is unique. So we say every audience is unique, but even within that group, each individual is unique. And so really what we're trying to do is send communications that are getting to the right people at the right time with the right information. And although they may share similar interests in their products, they're not all on the same timeline when it comes to their wants, needs, or purchasing behavior. So let's take a look at some of these subject lines that I have here, just as examples. So this is, again, 5 North Chocolate, Ben's business out in New York. So the first one is coming from 5 North Chocolate, and it's Peace, Love, Chocolate. How buying 5 North Chocolate means giving back globally. So this is definitely going to be more of a an email about giving back. It's more of the non-promotional email that we're looking at. And then the second one that we have here is the 5 North Chocolate, free shipping this week only. Get free shipping for any purchase of $50 or more. So this one's going to be obviously more promotional and driving sales, trying to get that immediate action from your audience. And then he has, so these are really just kind of great examples of how you might segment based off of purchasing behavior or where they are in the sales process with your business. So a lot of people actually, and I'm going to turn it back to the audience right now. If you all want to locate your little hand icon here and just give me a raise of hands for those of you who know what segmentation is, or you've started to segment your audience. I'd love to see just a gauge here within. Okay, so I see a few people with their hands raised. Great. And then if you want to, within the chat window, even type in what types of segments you're creating. I would love to hear your thoughts on that. So we have a few hands up for, yes, we're already segmenting, or I know what segmentation is, and that's a great start. I see some people within the chat window here saying past customers, those that have purchased a particular item or that will need service warranty needs. That's a great way to follow up with your audience, Jason. Current clients, prospective clients, professional colleagues. Angela's an attorney, so being able to see, okay, who do we want to bring in as a client, or even you're doing internal communications with colleagues, that's a great idea. Certain vertical industries, absolutely good. These are all wonderful answers. So for those of you who are unfamiliar with segmentation, it looks like quite a few of you are familiar with it, but for those of you who aren't, segmentation essentially just means splitting up your overall list into smaller groups based off of something that allows you to send more relevant messages to them. And it seems like a lot of work. I know that sometimes it can feel a little daunting to do all of this. So people typically ask me, does this actually work, or does it actually really help? Just a few studies have shown that about 70% of your consumers become frustrated when content isn't relevant to them. So when you send out an email to everyone and just kind of pray that it's relevant to someone, typically what you're doing is you're frustrating your audience instead. And we don't want that, right? We want them to feel a sense of relief or a value when you send an email, not a sense of frustration. When done properly and you're segmenting properly, it can actually double your open rates. And a part of that is because you have smaller groups of people, right? So the percentages are smaller and the percentages of people opening up are higher, right? But hopefully in theory, you're sending the right message to the right people and what they're interested in. And so they're opening up those emails more. And then emails that are relevant can actually drive up to 18 times more in revenue. So even just on an email by email basis, it's really important to consider that. Ultimately, sending targeted emails means that you'll drive more action, get more engagement, higher transaction rates, and fewer unsubscribes. So Sarah, can you share your experience with segmentation and how you've seen this help business owners that you've worked with specifically kind of help to achieve success with their businesses?
Yes, definitely. So first, within the NGLCC, we use segmentation frequently just because we'll have different opportunities surface for different kinds of businesses. So you don't want to send one targeted opportunity to every business owner. For example, we'll have a grant or a scholarship opportunity for our trans business owners, so we'll send it to that list specifically rather than just everybody. And then in terms of businesses themselves, so sometimes you'll have, say, a new product or service that you want to offer to past customers because you may not have, offered it at the time that you had a contract with them. So that's an opportunity that you'll want to send directly to them to let them know that you're sort of offering something new and you'd love to do business again with them. But that would be different messaging for your new customers if they haven't previously contracted with you. So when you've got two different sets of messaging, segmentation helps because you can then target it directly to exactly who you want to send it to.
That's great. I love that. And that's, you're setting me up so well, Sarah. I Can't even believe it. Because really essentially what you're talking about are the different ways to segment your audience. So based off of their demographic or their age, their income, their marital status, or how they identify in your case, or geographic location. Maybe I think you said earlier that you were communicating to, there was a New York newsletter, which I think implies that you're probably sending out different newsletters based off of where people are in the country and who you're supporting as the Chamber of Commerce. So that's a great way to do it too. And then typically what we see small business owners doing is segmenting based off of that purchasing behavior or what people are interested or what they're not interested in. Maybe if you're trying to cross promote services or products that you're selling, that's always a great way to do that too. So here are some, if you need some ideas on how to start segmenting, you can always look into things like specific products or product types. I saw there in the chat window, people were saying the different types of customers they have. So whether they're new or maybe they're existing customers, loyal customers that have purchased quite a bit over time, repeat clients or customers, most engaged versus least engaged. We actually just recently, I'm sorry, there's a truck, of course, right outside my window. I don't know if you can hear that. But we just launched a feature within Constant Contact that will actually show you your most engaged customers or readers within the product. So that's really helpful too. But if any of you are using e-commerce tools too, those typically have a lot of data as well that you can go into and say, I want to look for people that have purchased within the past 6 months over a certain level of pricing point. So you can really kind of dive into that data. And we have a lot of integrations at Constant Contact. So you can take that data and those segments and just directly upload them within the Constant Contact account, which is really nice. We also within Constant Contact have a smart segment tool. So you can, if you don't have that data within your e-commerce tools, you can at least go into Constant Contact and say, okay, well, I want to search for people who have opened up an email within the past 3 sends, that have clicked on a link and that have, you know, taken action, or whatever criteria it is that you're looking for. So there are different ways. If you haven't started to segment your list yet, there are ways that you can start to do that now. One of them too, one of my favorite tools within Constant Contact is called Click Segmentation. So this is what I was talking about a little bit earlier when we were talking about newsletters and keeping those kind of short and sweet, including read more buttons that drive people to your website to increase your SEO or to drive them to your social channels so that they can partake or participate in commenting on your posts and kind of overcoming those algorithms. In addition to those things, inserting links or intentionally putting links into your email that you know they're going to click on, that are also going to tell you more about what they're interested in, is going to help you in the long run. So essentially what this does is, when in this case we have, I think, yes, we use 5 North Chocolate again. So if Ben wanted to find out who is interested in purchasing chocolate bites versus chocolate bars, he can insert those actual links within the email itself. And when they click on it, you can see here that he has a chocolate bites list. So when they click on the chocolate bites button, they directly go into that chocolate bites list. And then if you want to take it a step further, which now we're kind of getting into automation, Ben could, in theory, set up an automated series that goes out to those people who merge into this list about chocolate bites. So he knows, okay, they're going to click on this button, they're going to go into that interest link, and then he already has an automated series to help nurture that purchasing behavior in the future. So this is not only really great for your audience because they're getting specifically what they've requested and what they are interested in, but it helps you learn more about your audience, and it helps you get more specific, drill down, higher open rates, higher click-through rates. And hopefully, since you're nurturing them with the right content, they're more likely to purchase quicker. Sarah, do you at NGLCC, do you ever intentionally put in links in your emails or do anything like this? I'm curious to hear some of your strategies around this.
We do, yes. So we'll have specific events for different industries. For example, we have the national legal industry, we've got our construction council. And so when we're looking for people to be added to those groups, when we have those event links populating, we'll use click segmentation to then add them to our construction or our legal mailing list. So it really helps us to divide up exactly who our audience is and then target them directly with events that we think they'll be interested in attending.
That's great. So it's even more for you with different industries that people are in, or different programs that they might want to get involved in.
Absolutely, yes.
Awesome. Wonderful. I'm curious, just within our audience here, if any of you are intentionally putting in, I know that everybody kind of shared a little bit about the different segments that they already have, and we got a few more answers. Certain vertical industries are purchased by state. Are any of you putting in intentional links in your emails to acquire more information about your audience? Feel free to put that into the chat window and share with us. I'd love to hear as well. And while you're doing that, we can kind of move into the idea of automation, because we mentioned once you start to use click segmentation or you start to merge into different interest categories, what's going to help you save time along the way, rather than creating manual emails every time and sending out manual emails to each of these categories or interest categories, you can set up automated series ahead of time. So this is more of a set it and forget it type of email communication, which is always really helpful, especially when you're running a small business. I know that it can be extremely time consuming. And so this is an example, the Basil Tree, it's a catering service in Massachusetts. They're actually also a member of the NGLCC. So we can see here that within their email, they have lots of different articles here. Well, I guess it's just more one topic. They're sharing out about their seasonal menu additions. But what I love about this is that they have inserted links for certain recipes. And so that might give them an idea in terms of who's interested in what kind of catering services or what kind of food, what kind of dietary needs that people might have. And then they have a great call to action, schedule my sample lunch. So that's another really great link that they've included, because especially people who are clicking on that, we could consider these are probably really hot leads. These are people that we should probably follow up with, or maybe even send an extra incentive to take action or to schedule some catering services with us, right? So inserting these types of links can really kind of create the segmented emails, and then hopefully they have some sort of automated series following up with these people who are clicking afterwards. Let's see here, I have some answers here. Some people are saying I give away ebooks and segment my leads to the level of experience they might have within the industry. That's fantastic. Always encouraging people with some sort of incentive. Hey, click here for a free ebook or a free download guide, giving them some sort of valuable reason to take action is always a great idea. And then for you on the back end, Jason, it looks like that gives you information about the level of experience that they have within your industry. So how you follow up with them or how you educate them in the future. So I love that example there. Okay, so moving on. Of course, if you're using an e-commerce platform like Shopify, BigCommerce, WooCommerce, it's always a good idea to implement an abandoned cart email as well. So this is another type of automated series that's going to save you time and help you increase sales. So if somebody goes to your website and they're adding, I do this all the time. I'm so guilty of this. I go and I shop and then I go, oh, I probably shouldn't, right? And then I get a follow-up email with an extra incentive to go and purchase those items or not to leave them in the cart. You're just capturing the audience. Even if it's a small percentage, you're capturing a small percentage of people that just kind of are right on that decision-making line, right? So you can just nudge a little bit more and increase your sales that way. This is one that's highly underutilized. So you may even consider giving some sort of discount, or like Jason was saying in the comments there, some sort of incentive, a free guide or a download or something of that sort to just encourage that purchasing behavior. Sarah, do you guys at NGLCC do anything like this?
So since we don't sell products typically,
Right.
so we don't have the abandoned cart, but we've seen high success rates with businesses who do have that, just because, you know, that little extra nudge can go a very long way, and it can definitely help increase revenue in that sense.
Definitely. And usually these e-commerce tools like Shopify, BigCommerce, WooCommerce, they typically have some sort of automated email that you can set up within their platform to do that. But we also, since we integrate, especially with Shopify, we integrate, we have a tool that you can set it up in Constant Contact, and Shopify communicates that over. So you can do it either way. But I love this idea. I think it's just such a simple and effective way to increase those sales. So just to kind of go back over the things that we've learned today before I pass it off to Sarah to talk about the NGLCC and how they can help you grow your business. We really talked about the fundamentals of email marketing, including promotional and non-promotional emails. We talked about the importance of keeping your emails short and sweet and giving them links to go and click more, which helps with your segmentation, creating segments and smaller groups of people into like-minded categories so you can send more targeted, relevant information and cater the messages to those groups. And then using automation to really send more timely emails so that you're saving yourself time, you're setting it and forgetting it, and it's not, it's less time consuming for you as a business because you have more important things to do, right? So with that, I'm going to pass it off to Sarah. And Sarah, would you prefer that I give you control so you can advance the slides at your leisure?
I think it's okay if I can just let you know when to advance the
Okay,
slide.
sounds good.
Thank you.
So I'll pass it off to you.
Awesome. So today we're going to be discussing how to grow your LGBT business through the National LGBT Chamber of Commerce. Next slide. So NGLCC is recognized as the business voice and advocate for the LGBT business community, both in America and across the world. We are the largest advocacy organization dedicated to expanding both financial and economic opportunities and advancements for LGBT people and businesses alike. And we're the exclusive certifying body for LGBT-owned businesses. Now, what that means is once you apply to become a part of the NGLCC, we'll vet your business to ensure that it's at least 51% LGBT owned, and then you'll receive your Certified LGBT Business Enterprise or Certified LGBT BE designation. And once you become a part of that community, you'll realize that it is a massive change maker across the world economically. We generate over 1.7 trillion in economic impact globally. And we are also, the NGLCC is the leading public policy advocate in terms of including certified LGBT businesses in both national and local procurement opportunities. So essentially just opening up those channels of procurement to LGBT-owned businesses. Next slide. So as I said, once you obtain that certified LGBT BE designation, you'll have additional channels of procurement and contracting opened up to you. So these channels of procurement are directly to interact with our NGLCC corporate partners. And we have over 300 partners. You can view the full list at nglcc.org/corporate-partners. And these partners include IBM, Wells Fargo, Dell, Facebook, the list goes on, some great names in there. And our certified LGBT BE companies have the opportunity to form direct relationships with hundreds of supplier diversity contacts within the industry, as well as corporate representatives, which increases their likelihood of gaining more contracts. Our business owners also receive special access to scholarships, grants, mentorship training, leadership development training, and a wide variety of other resources once they obtain that certification. Next slide. So aside from these resources, the NGLCC, in my opinion at least, is living proof that LGBT entrepreneurs and business owners can really grow and learn more effectively when they have support from each other, when they're able to directly interact with each other, and when they have a strong network at their back. And so you can start creating this network from the ground up once you join the NGLCC and start interacting with other LGBT business owners through our diverse array of events. And some of this programming includes Webinar Wednesday, which takes place twice a month on Wednesdays at 2 p.m. Eastern. We cover everything from PPP loans to work from home tips to just special Pride programming as well, which we've had a lot of this month for sure. Happy Pride, everyone. And we also do Sip and Pitch, which is a monthly program taking place on Fridays at 3 p.m. Eastern. It's a chance for LGBT business owners to present their business, to pitch their business to a seasoned panel of corporate and supplier diversity representatives. And what happens is these business owners are able to receive real-time feedback and constructive criticism from the panel. And following these pitches, there's a segment called Community and Conversation, where LGBT business owners can discuss the pitches they just saw, current events, and relevant supplier diversity topics. So one other special program that I'm going to mention is Crossroads in Conversation, which is actually taking place later today at 3 p.m. Eastern if you've got some free time in your schedule today. Essentially, we invite LGBT celebrities and advocates, as well as corporate representatives, to come discuss LGBT topics with us. And today we've got Shelly Wright, who is a country singer and LGBT activist. We'll be discussing with her later today. So I encourage you to go ahead and register for that at nglcc.org/events if you'd like to join us, and we look forward to seeing you there. Next slide.
These, I just have to say, Sarah, these events sound so great, and I love Shelly Wright. I'm a big Shelly Wright fan, so that's exciting.
No, she's great. It's going to be a great conversation today. So aside from engaging with other LGBT business owners through the NGLCC network alone, we encourage you to engage with them through our partners platforms. And one platform I'd really like to highlight is our partner, Hello Alice. Hello Alice is a digital platform that essentially helps small business owners as well as LGBT business owners to strategize around and build aspects of their businesses that they may be having trouble with, that they haven't been able to get their questions answered for. It's essentially an online training platform that grows more and more personalized as you make your way through the trainings. And aside from the training component of it, it also offers a wide variety of online communities and forums that are targeted at specific segments of the business owner populations. For example, if you're an LGBT owner in the legal industry, there might be a legal industry forum that you can join to get questions answered about your personal practice. So you can get your questions answered there, as well as collaborate one-on-one with other business owners in your field. And then this is a free resource that we highly encourage you to take advantage of. You can sign up at helloalice.com and tell them we sent you their way. Next slide. So zooming out from those resources, it's, as I mentioned earlier, it's really, really important to have a grasp on your own personal story in order to continue growing your business. So if you're able to articulate clearly why you founded your business, why you do what you do, why your business is special and different from others in the field, you can form more meaningful connections with your audience and your customer base in a way that can really impact your revenue in a positive way. Additionally, knowing what your customers expect from you can really help you to formulate that message. So whether it's conducting audience research, conducting market research, or just talking one-on-one with your customers about your product, you can get a sense of why they're interested in your service or product, why they want to purchase from you, and what you could do better. So helping to formulate that message around why you do what you do, and then kind of connecting it to what your audience wants from you is incredibly important. You should be able to talk about this off the top of your head, whether it's in an email marketing campaign, in a video, or just speaking with a customer one-on-one. And it'll help you deliver that service or product with more meaning than ever before, and hopefully raising your revenue in the process. Next slide.
I forgot I was on mute. Those were really, really great, helpful tips and tools and resources. I'm glad to hear that NGLCC is obviously a huge advocate of helping small business owners, and especially small business owners within the LGBTQ+ community just really succeed. And you know, we're doing this, obviously, we're doing this as a partnership, this webinar as partnership for Pride Month, but we know that Pride goes far beyond June. And we at Constant Contact also want to help support you in your efforts in sharing your story and succeeding as a business. So really just kind of the final thoughts for us today at Constant Contact is that there are resources out there. There are tools out there. We are one of them, but we are also here to help educate you on not only Constant Contact, but just succeeding as a business. But email marketing is a great, great place to start. And so is becoming a member of the NGLCC. So, you know, they're the experts in really what you need to do to grow your business, build awareness around your community, and just becoming a successful business. So from here, we'll go ahead and take some questions, but I do just want to share with you a few opportunities if you're looking for it. Constant Contact does partner with not only the NGLCC, but all chambers as well. And because you all attended today's webinar, or for those of you who are watching the recording, thank you so much for attending and sharing your time with us today. We want to offer you the chamber member discount. So you can go to constantcontact.com/chamber member, and that will put you into a trial period so you can test out the systems and everything that we talked about today, creating those promotional and non-promotional emails, and maybe testing out some segmentation, integrating it with some of your e-commerce platforms. And then when you decide that you do want to use Constant Contact, you get an additional discount of 20% off for 6 months or 25% off for 12 months just for attending today's webinar. So we want to thank you personally for joining us today. And then Sarah, I don't know if you want to share a little bit more about how people can get started with NGLCC if they haven't already done so.
Yeah, absolutely. So you can see the link right there is nglcc.org/get-certified. So if you are not already certified, I encourage you to go read a little bit more about the process. And if you have any questions, you can absolutely reach out to us at info@nglcc.org. We're here and ready to answer your questions, and we hope to connect with you further.
Wonderful. Great, so I think it's time for questions. Feel free to, if you have questions, anything about NGLCC, how they can help you, the different resources and tools they have available, or Constant Contact, marketing questions, feel free to type that into the chat window. We have about 10 minutes, so let's go ahead and get started. I do see some questions in here already. MJ asks, is it more effective for product sales to segment by customer behavior or by certain characteristics of your customer? My perspective, I mean, I think you could probably do both, right? But let's see here, more effective for product sales. I would probably say, that's a tough one. I would say probably characteristics of your customers, because the characteristics, their likes, their dislikes, is probably going to drive their customer behavior. So I almost see customer behavior as the result if you are categorizing them or segmenting them based off of their interests, if I'm understanding your question correctly. Sarah, I don't know if you have any perspective on this as well, or an opinion on this as well.
Yeah, I agree, especially when it comes to demographic characteristics. I think some products will be targeted at different demographics, and so segmenting it in that way will make sure that that opportunity goes directly to them. I think that's the most effective way to do it.
Great. Jason says, I'm NGLCC certified as pro referee. July 1st marks 1 full year. I'm also this week's business of the week. Awesome. That's so great. He says, getting certified helped me win a grant and successfully navigate PPP. So there you go, a real life example of how the National LGBT Chamber of Commerce has helped a real live member of theirs and small business. So congratulations, Jason.
We're so happy to hear that, and congratulations again on Business of the Week.
Wonderful. And I don't see any other questions, so feel free, maybe I'll give it another minute just to wait to see if some of those roll in here. But again, feel free to type in any questions about your marketing strategy, email marketing strategy, segmentation, any of the events that NGLCC has coming up. We'd love to answer those questions for you. And if not, then we'll go ahead and end early today and give you back some time during your day. But it looks like we don't have any of those coming in. So I'll go ahead and wrap this up with just a big thank you to everyone for coming out today and for spending time with us. I know that as a small business owner, your time is very precious. And a big thank you to Sarah and the NGLCC for partnering with Constant Contact for Pride Month and for today's webinar. We are so honored to have you here and to be sharing your expertise with us. So thank you. And with that, we'll go ahead and end the webinar. Sarah, do you have any last minute or lasting thoughts that you want to share as well?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for having us today. And thank you to everyone who joined us. And again, please reach out to info@nglcc.org if you have any questions about certification. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much and take care, everyone. Happy sending, and we'll see you soon.